Hey guys, it's your girl Dominique from Namaste and Crochet, and today we have a very spooky, scary crochet tutorial for you. Today we're going to be making the center spider web of the Black Widow top. The spooky element of this tutorial is that you're going to be crocheting this web while you're wearing the top. Sound scary? Good. If you don't already have the pattern, you're going to want to go grab that in my shop for $7.95. The pattern is size inclusive, so it goes from size extra small to 5X, so you'll be able to go check out the measurements and see which size works for you. I promise you, it's not as hard as it looks. Let's get into it. All right, guys, let's get started. So I have all of my stitch markers in place. There's going to be 10 total. The pattern will explain where to put them, but they're going to look something like this. There's going to be 10 total in the circle of the V-neck. First, we're going to attach our yarn at the center of the neck, right where your stitch marker is in the middle of the neckband. And then we're going to start to chain. And it is a little bit tricky to get these chains started, I'm not gonna lie. If you need a little bit of help getting it placed, you can take the neckband off, put it on there, get the chain started, and then put it back on. All things to make it a little bit easier. I got my chain started, so I'm gonna start chaining down. And the goal with these chains is that they lay flat onto your body, but that they aren't too loose that they like come up off of the body. So I'm gonna go all the way down. And we're going to connect this first line to the bottom of the V-neck. That feels pretty good. See how it's just flat up against my body, but it's also not like pulling down on the neckline. That's what you want. So I'm going to attach that line, and there we have our first vertical line. I'm gonna cut this yarn, and then we're gonna reattach to make our horizontal line. Okay, so now we're gonna create our horizontal line. And this one is super important because it determines how open your neck area is gonna be. You want it to obviously give you enough coverage, but you also want to create enough space to create the rest of the spider web in the middle of it. We're going to be connecting right here. It should be like right in the center of the breast, kind of at the fullest part of the breast. And again, the pattern will explain exactly where you're gonna want your stitch markers, but we're gonna go with these two stitch markers right here. So I'm gonna connect to one side. And start chaining. Okay. And I feel good about this. I still know that all of the important things are going to be covered once my undershirt is off. The chain is flat up against my body, but it's not pulling the shirt. So that's, again, the sweet spot that we want to create. I'm going to connect it over here onto the opposite side. And there we have our horizontal line. All right, fitting pretty good so far. Now we're going to make the long diagonal lines, and the diagonal lines connect from the top sides of the neck all the way down here to the second stitch marker that's going to be placed along the V-neck. So I'm going to attach my yarn to this bottom stitch marker, and I'm going to start chaining up. Getting close. Again, you want it to lay flat up against your body. Don't want it to pull on the neck or on the top. It might pull a little bit right here, but that's okay. It kind of looks cool, I think. So yeah, I feel good about that. I'm going to attach this to the side of the neck. Then we have our first vertical line. Okay, let's make our second vertical line. I've attached my yarn at the same spot on the opposite side of the V-neck. And I'm gonna start chaining upward toward the other side of my neckline. See guys, this isn't as scary as you thought. This is easy, I think, for now. I think a couple more chains would be perfect. Okay, one more chain. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna attach to the side of my neck with a single stitch. Oops. Remember that part I said about this being easy? Maybe I spoke too soon. Have the next vertical line coming along. Okay, so we have 4 more stitch markers. We're going to be connecting these 2 diagonal and these 2 diagonal. So I'm going to start on the lower one, connect my yarn, and then I'm going to start chaining toward the other remaining stitch marker on the opposite side of the neckline. Okay, that looks pretty good. Perfect. And now I'm going to do the other side. Okay, that feels good. Going to connect to my final stitch marker. And now we have the base of our spider web. Okay guys, now we're gonna secure the center of the spider web because we don't want all these lines to be moving around on us as we create the outer parts of the web. So what I've done is put a little string on a tapestry needle, and you want to attach it kind of in where it's naturally forming the center of the top. I connected my yarn to the very bottom, the vertical line that we did at first, kind of in the spot that I want the center to fall. And then I'm just gonna kind of go through each one of these little chains and just start connecting them all in that center. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You kind of just want to create like a nice little knot in the center here so that things aren't moving around too much. And I'm not going to go through it too many times. I went through each one of these chains once. That's all you need just to keep it in place. I'm going to create a little knot. And then I'm going to sew in these ends. But this is what it should look like. Okay, so now we're going to create the first ring around the center of the spider web. You're going to want to start this ring on that horizontal line that connects across the breast. And I like to find kind of like the center chain between the center of the web and the breast cup. So I think this is a good center place for me to connect to right here. And then we're gonna start chaining in a circle. And what we're gonna do is connect each one of these little lines with a chain. We're gonna go around in a circle this way. The chains probably shouldn't be longer than like 3 to 5 chains. Again, you just kind of want to see what is going to lay flat up against the body without pulling on the design too much. I'm going to do 3 right here, 3 right here, and you're just going to kind of go around and connect each one of these little points. And because this is kind of a freehand, you're just gonna wanna keep checking in and making sure that you're liking the way that it's coming out. I like to do a little bit of a dip down in the chains, like toward the bottom of the V-neck, just to kind of create a little elongation right there. So if you wanna create a little bit more length in your chains to meet at the bottom, that's totally cool. If not, you can just keep it really even. I'm doing 3 chains each for these. Again, it just kind of depends on like your size, the like tension in which you chain. The whole goal is that everything is laying nice and flat up against your body. So that's what we're really looking for when we do this part. Remember when I said this was easy? LOL. You got this, we got this. Again, if you need to take this off and do it while it's off of your body and put it back on your body just to check for size, that's totally okay. It's not cheating. Nobody's gonna be checking on that. So whatever you need to do to make this make sense for you is totally cool. Almost there. You're just gonna wanna go around and connect each one of these little floating chains. All right. We are back to the beginning. I'm just going to slip stitch into the same place that I began the circle. And I'm gonna snip that. Let's check it out. Looking pretty good. Ooh, yeah. And if these aren't looking exactly perfect, that's okay. This is a spider web. It's supposed to have kind of an organic feel. Of course, you can go back and edit anything if you don't like it, but if it's not exactly perfect, like, it's kind of part of the vibe, I think. But here we have our first ring around the center of the V-neck. Okay, we're gonna create the second ring around the spider web. We're going to attach this in the same place that the horizontal line attaches to the breast cup. We're not gonna have a gap between this line and the breast cup, so it's just gonna be right on the edge there. And essentially we're gonna be doing the same thing. Because this is the outer circle, you might need to add like 1 or 2 more chains from your previous one. And we're just gonna start creating the second ring around. Usually on like the first and the second one, there's not really a gap between the ring and the breast cup. So if you don't have a ton of room to create a little separation there, don't worry about it. The separation is going to come more in toward the bottom and the top, and it'll create a really cool illusion. And then again, toward the bottom and the top of the chains, I do like to create a little bit more distance just to kind of create like that V shape. As you can see, it's creating a nice little elongated V. And then along the breast cups again, it's not going to really have a ton of separation, so don't worry about it if you can't see a gap between the breast cup and the circle. Now that I'm back at the horizontal line, I'm just going to single crochet directly into the breast cup to create that similar connection that we created on the other side. Finding it to be a little bit more difficult to chain on to myself as I get toward the neck. Again, you're always welcome to take the top off and try doing this while it's off of your body. We just want to check the fit to make sure that everything is still laying the way that you want it. Getting there. Okay, now I'm back at the horizontal line where I originally connected this line in with a spider web, so I'm just going to slip stitch right into that beginning single crochet. And here is the second round of the spider web. Looking pretty cool. So we have one more little line to make. We're going to make a V line from here to the center of the neckline and then back on the other side. So we're going to pick a spot that's halfway between the top diagonal line and the neckline. So I'm going to attach the yarn like right here. And I'm going to chain up to the center of the neckline. Shouldn't be too long of a chain. I think that feels good. It's not pulling, laying flat. Ooh, this part's tricky. It's also hard to do this like through a phone. A mirror is probably easier. Come on, I can do it. I can do it. I'm almost there. Haha, success. Okay, so I'm gonna chain again. Okay, and attach it halfway between the top of the neck and this line. So I'm gonna go right here. See how that feels. We got this, we got this. Okay, so here it is. I think that feels pretty good, looks pretty cool. Obviously, you're gonna wanna sew in all of these little ends. Go back and make sure that everything is the way that you want it. You can refine any of the details. And you can also add beads if you like. Sometimes I like to put a bead at the center, or if I want it to be extra sparkly, I'll like put them through the whole web. But here is the web. I think that was pretty doable, right? You guys got this. All right, guys, so here we have the finished spider web. I hope that you enjoyed this spooky tutorial. As you can see, everything that needs to be covered is covered, but there's still like a nice open V-neck to feature this fun spider web. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and stick around for some more cool crochet tutorials.